RUC has condemned the rioting at last night's Irish Cup soccer replay between Cliftonville and Portadown. 11 police officers were hurt in the violence. The RUC fired 3 baton rounds after the match at the Solitude ground in Belfast. The first meeting between the sides earlier this month was also marred by hooliganism.
Both sets of fans were kept well away from each other, but the insults were still traded. Then came the tricolour, followed quickly by the Union flag. The first trouble came as the second half got underway. Portadown fans corralled at one end of the Solitude ground let off a firecracker, and then scuffles broke out between them and police wearing riot gear. The fighting lasted about 5 minutes before calm was restored. The game continued throughout this disturbance, and Portadown went on to win the match 1-0, the goal from Ian Ferguson. But after the final whistle, a crowd of about a dozen Cliftonville fans broke through the fencing behind the goalmouth and ran up the pitch to taunt and jeer at the Portadown supporters. More police in riot gear and officers with dogs chased them back. Sticks and stones and bottles were thrown at the police, who quickly withdrew to defuse the situation. The Portadown fans were allowed to leave the ground first, but when some Cliftonville supporters got outside Solitude, fighting with the police continued. At one stage, a number of plastic baton rounds were fired as supporters continued to hurl stones and bottles at the police. Eventually, the crowd dispersed.
Well, the manager of Cliftonville, Marty Quinn, gave his reaction to the violence.
A lot of people were here to enjoy football. Maybe a couple of people were here with other things on their mind, but we had a good crowd tonight, and it's just unfortunate a couple of people let the club down.
A shot was fired during an incident at a house in West Belfast at around 7 o'clock last night. The police say 2 men, one armed with a shotgun, called at the house in Norglen Parade and asked for a man by name.
Then, as the match ended with a 1-0 victory for Portadown, Cliftonville supporters broke down the fence and surged onto the pitch. Riot police with dogs turned them back before they reached the Portadown end. But the violence continued after the match on the Cliftonville road. 16 police officers were injured, and police say they fired 3 plastic baton rounds to disperse the rioters. Superintendent Michael Brown, sub-divisional commander for the Antrim Road, said the match was marred by elements from both sets of supporters, and the attack afterwards by Cliftonville fans was violent beyond reason.
Police